The Crypto Show is brought to you in part by CoinHQ, your one-stop crypto shop for news, information, entertainment. At CoinHQ, we've got the strongest hands in crypto, and we're getting the tingles for alt season. Strap one on with CoinHQ because heaven isn't too far away.
Hey there, what do you know? It's time to watch the Crypto Show. It's a show about crypto. Crypto Show.
Well, hey there. What do you know? It's time to watch the Crypto Show. Got a hell of a good show ahead for you tonight. We're going to talk about a bunch of stuff. But first, I'd like to say that tonight's show is brought to you by Rough Rider. No, not that Rough Rider. No. I do like to get a little randy. That has different connotations in crypto, but that is the Rough Rider. So it might be a day-night show. We start in the night and we finish in the day. Moving on. If I was going to be promoting something, I would have to say that I would want to promote my favorite exchange, Bittrex, who just announced that they are now offering $300 million worth of insurance for crypto assets, which I think is fucking awesome. Not only have they always taken steps to be the most secure exchange, always putting security first, but they've also put their money they've made off you in a place to cover your ass if something happens. And that's like big league shit. Like, you would expect the Winklevosses to do that. Oh, and according to this Cointelegraph article, they do. They offer $200 million in insurance. Like having deposit insurance, FDIC approved shit for your crypto. Well, good looking out, Bittrex. Fucking awesome. What else? There's a bird on my shoulder. He's there because I don't fucking know. I don't live here. I just drink here. And that reminds me that you should watch The Bird's Nest. It is awesome. You will learn shit there that you won't learn from somebody who's just in it for the Rough Rider. Okay, moving on. Yeah, this Cointelegraph article here saying that YouTubers predicting the 100K bull run beginning. That's a good sign. Got Peter Brandt saying that we are unlikely to see a return to 6K levels, and Tony Vase seen here saying that we're probably going to be bullish if we stay above 9K, which we have. But I really think we're seeing optimism returning to the crypto markets. Some good advice from Crypto Bull here. Don't get caught up in a bearish sentiment because we think that we've turned the corner. Another good indicator is when you're starting to see people pop up that we haven't seen in a while. After this shifty green fuck headed off to Dagobah where he decimated the local Wasi population. And now I guess he's back. And watching social media, really there's no secret to that type of analysis. And indeed, the natives are getting restless. I love this guy, Crypto Noob 99. He's always hitting me up like, when's alt season? I'm like, dude, I don't freaking know. So yeah, that's the happy stuff. So anyway, before we move on, let's talk about the not so good stuff. And of course, that means thieves. And I was looking at my social media feed, and this came across it this week. How to steal $7.4 million without threatening anybody or hurting anybody by robbing banks. And I'm thinking, you guys are freaking amateurs. You should have just started an ICO. You could have stolen 10 times as much, and you would have never even needed to talk to anybody. So anyway, this ICO of the week is one that's really near and dear to my heart because they ran off with a good chunk of my cash. And don't get me wrong, it wasn't fun. Not like that anyway. An interesting cash tag. It was really just a dumpster fire. Without further ado, then, let's take out the trash. Deep brain chain. What the fuck was I thinking? Especially after W1, the stories of the Chinese ICO mills, it is so clear when you read through this Twitter handle. Let's just look at this garbage. It sounds like a good idea in theory, the Uber of Chinese AI, but down almost 1,000x. Unbelievable. What happened to your new $100 million office in Silicon Valley? Well, I don't know. When you're down 1,000%, I guess you don't have any money for that. Wow, that doesn't look good. Evidence of artificial price manipulation? No shit. But I guess as long as there's still tokens to sell and people to buy them, they're just going to keep dumping them. Now, I'm not like a lot of people in that my investment isn't down 99.98%, because I bought it at around 100 Satoshi. Now it's at like 8 Satoshi. So I've only lost 90%. Cool. Anyway, whenever you see something like this, where you're seeing a complicated token allocation scheme, lots of rules, um, the appearance of a deal with discounts, and then a risk and an excuse at the end there. All right, well, reasons that this has a more value because half of all the tokens will be generated through mining, and oh, they have the famous investor blessing. Yeah, I've got your famous investor blessing right here. You know your money's probably gone. Uh, Now, this is a Chinese project, so you could give them the benefit of the doubt. Who maybe they hired somebody off Sixer, um, and they got some drunk guy tweeting for them for like $30. That's possible. Um, or maybe they've just probably stolen all your money and you're never going to get it back. That seems possible. I mean, what do you think's more possible? Does that mean I'm going to like dump the money I have in this and, get my like, you know, $3 back? I think it was a $30 position, you know, one of my bigger ones. So that hurts. I'll just hold it because what I have left is not worth anything. Maybe it'll be worth something. Maybe there is a factory making deep brain chain miner equipment out there. I mean, cool. It was a great idea. You totally fooled me. I thought it was smart, but this is just another reason why you don't buy fucking ICOs because it is now worth nothing. All right. Well, some Chinese dude got himself a nice fucking yacht off my back. So, or, the spark plugs to run his. Well, I guess they use diesel engines, no spark plugs. Anyway, that's enough of that. Moving on. Okay, what else is really ridiculously unfair? All right, the New York Department of Financial Services, I guess, and Governor Cuomo, in his great wisdom to protect us, the citizens of New York State, because we're obviously not smart enough to make our own decisions, has done everything they can to keep retail traders out of crypto in the state of New York. They've made it really difficult by kicking out Bittrex, for one thing. I don't know that Binance can operate here either, even though fuck CZ. I don't trade there. You shouldn't either. Fuck that guy. New York State, has done everything they could to limit crypto adoption in the state. And what they did was they enacted this overarching piece of legislation called the bit license. And the purpose of this was basically to kick crypto companies out of New York State to protect the legacy banking system and to also let Wall Street and their cronies get in on these crypto assets before anybody else has the chance. This guy here, Ben Lawsky, he was behind it all. He wrote the bit license, quit in 2015. In 2016, Ripple got the first bit license. And then in 2017, old Ben here went to work for Ripple. Well, that's interesting. I think that's referred to as regulatory capture. Now, I don't know if that makes it illegal or not, but regulatory capture says it's considered a corruption of authority, and I think that there definitely could be a case made for that there. Definitely crony capitalism work. Just throw us all under the bus here in New York State. You have the greatest revolution in finance of all time, maybe going on right here, and you're keeping the people in this state and in this country from participating, and you're giving the edge to Russia and you're giving the edge to China. Why? To protect Wall Street hegemony, to allow the oligarchs and the old money sell retail the ICOs, fuck them, steal their money, and all the real crypto, well, we want to acquire as much of that as possible, and we want to create our own tokens like Ripple that pull money out of the ecosystem. And, the only good thing about it is, it's still running. They're committed to it. I know people I went to freaking high school with that bought Ripple. Like, that's how I knew we were at the top. And of course, I didn't sell my coins because I was a true believer. I was seeing people that I went to high school with that know nothing about crypto tweeting about how they just made money buying Ripple like $1 and selling it at 2. And yeah, all of them did. But anyway, that kind of behavior is bad for crypto. It's bad for adoption because it bites people in the ass for getting involved in a new asset class. The whole ICO thing is totally predatory. And, maybe not as much so with Ripple because there's still a product, there's still development. The coins aren't worth nothing. But with stuff like Deep Brain Chain, and that's not even a Binance ICO. I don't even want to get into those. Unrealistically large valuations, dozens of millions or hundreds of millions of dollars, and that money disappeared. It didn't go to development teams. It didn't go to creating new ideas. It didn't even go in the pockets of other people trading against you as a trader. It went in the pockets of fucking thieves. This is a token, it's worth this much money, fucking buy it. And then people did. And then they got disillusioned with crypto and they went away. So anyway, you have your Ripple. And, Ripple's really a long game. It came out in 2012. Third largest crypto. Actually, you can see there 500 million tokens were just released from escrow. You can kind of see Ripple here. It's sitting on kind of a multi-year launch pad slash resistance level here. I really like the way it looks here, despite the fact that they've just released a bunch of tokens. This level, when altcoin dominance has broken upwards, like it did in, looks like around March, April, May 2017, and then, when everything took off here in 2018, it just really, really went through the roof. Kind of the same thing here too, back in the middle of 2018. I like the fact that it's kind of skirting this 200-day moving average too. It's not really something I would buy, because I try to look more for value. That's really why I like Stellar at this point, because Stellar moves with Ripple in a lot of cases. But whereas Ripple has had a token release, Stellar has actually had their token supply cut in half. Not to mention, it's a much, much smaller market cap. They've also given a lot of XLM away, and they continue to through promotions through Coinbase. There's varying thoughts on this. I think it's a good thing. And of course, this internet search is just so crypto. It shows you three different articles. One, oh, the bearish momentum is strong. Two, oh, Stellar is going to go to the moon. Really so crypto. But I think again, giving away the Stellar is a good thing because that functions in a couple of different ways. One, you have this huge 50% supply burn, and then on the other hand, you have the fact that if people are given these tokens, in a lot of cases, they're just going to sit on this Stellar or they're going to lose it. So that kind of creates a passive supply burn. Ripple is intended to take care of cross-border transactions for larger organizations. Stellar is aimed at doing the same thing, but for small organizations, individuals, they're really looking at targeting the developing world, which I think is so huge. Whoever gets their crypto wallet on the phones of everybody in the third world as soon as possible, that's the company, that's the end game right there. But if you want more information about what they've been up to, you can look at their Wikipedia page for a quick look. They've got integration with Deloitte. They've partnered with IBM, gone into Nigeria to create a system for monetizing cell phone minutes. So they're actually out there pushing real-world adoption of this tech. Getting back to the economics behind it, it's been in and out of the top 10, but it's also on Coinbase's U.S. listings, which can be traded in most U.S. jurisdictions. So after we've seen some coins like Ethereum Classic, huge moves in that, if we've seen Bitcoin Cash go up, 80-90%, we've seen big moves in some of these coins. I thought that Stellar looked really good. Now, I have some friends that are technical analysis gurus that told me to avoid it. Of course I didn't, because what I did was I made money on my Bitcoin Cash trade. So of course I had that money burning a hole in my pocket. I'm looking at some of these coins and I'm seeing like a 3 drive up on a whole lot of them. So I saw what I thought was a 2 drive up on Stellar, and I thought, all right, well, this has another leg in it. It's really close to the 200-day moving average, and I think that this could be the next one to go up 50, 100%. So I bought it at 750 sats, wrote it down 10%. At that point, looked at the chart and thought this is going lower, so I got out. Then went sideways, it's dipped a bit. I got back in. I don't know if that's smart or not, but just looking at the charts, like for me, the opportunity cost, of being in this trade a little bit earlier versus a little bit later, I'm maybe not going to make as much as I could, but I do think that this one has a lot of potential upside, especially as the market seems to be turning around. Okay, so this is actually a look at Stellar here. You can see this is a one-day chart, and very similar to Ripple. You saw you had those big spikes right around the same time in looks like right around May 2017. Then again right before 2018, right at the end there. And then you had this other spike here, which I believe coincides with that 50% supply burn. So you can see it reacted similarly to Ripple. So the argument can be made that it does really follow Ripple's price action in some ways. Zooming in a bit here, just kind of telling you the story of my XLM buy. I bought it probably right around here. I actually bought it right when it broke that 200 moving average and closed on it. That's when I bought it. And then when it kind of retraced down here into uh, 660, 650, I kind of thought that maybe it was going to go south, just looking at how it was testing this range again. So I got out, and then it kind of went sideways, and then I got back in right about break even at where I got out. So I don't feel like I've lost anything because I'm still broken even. But we can go back and just look my reasoning behind this. Just call up a different chart here. Okay, here's the Ethereum Classic chart for a 1 day for kind of similar period of time. It had broken, and you had the 1, 2, kind of 3 drive up here after it broke the 200-day moving average, and I was kind of hoping to see something more like this, where we're kind of doubling in price almost, and then Ethereum Classic still looking pretty good. Like maybe it even has another leg up in it. For me, this isn't something I would really touch at this point. I would be looking at maybe buying it if it tests this lower range down here. But again, I'm not really thinking too much about Ethereum Classic. It's just kind of looking at that pattern that I saw in that coin. It's just a quick look at Bitcoin Cash. You can see that same 3 drive, 1, 2, 3. It resolved higher. This is kind of, I entered this trade back here in December in this range here. So I did all right with that. But I was looking for that 1, 2, 3, and then big pop after we crossed that moving average. And I haven't seen that in Stellar yet. So it's another example of what I was looking at. I mean, granted, we haven't even seen Ripple break that moving average yet. But again, I'm not that interested in Ripple. But yeah, getting back to Stellar here on the smaller time frame, I was kind of looking and seeing, all right, well, we had this 1 drive, and then now that we've closed, I was looking for 2 more drives upwards. So we haven't seen that, obviously. Now, if you're looking here, we can kind of look at a smaller time scale. It's a little easier to see it. Like if we go to a kind of a 6-hour thing, it's a little bit easier to see how kind of we are riding that moving average. Let's go to a 12 and take a look at that. Definitely trending upwards, and really what we might be seeing now is, kind of a, well, I don't want to do that, kind of a cup and handle maybe developing, which would be very nice. That's kind of what I think we may be seeing here, and that's on a 12-hour time frame. And go down to 1 hour. See how it's reacting. It's very easy to see kind of the cup and handle shape developing, and then that might, resolve. Looking, if we kind of looked at these levels in here, trying to find a rough idea of where things could go. For me, these are kind of the levels I would be looking at, somewhere in here. And, it would give us like an easy 2x on this. Maybe more over time. So anyway, of all of the large caps, and I'm not really a large cap trader. I don't spend a lot of time doing that. I think there's better opportunity in smaller caps, but just being that this is listed on Coinbase, and I feel there's some good fundamental reasons and some good technical reasons to look at it. I'm in this trade, and it's probably something that I'll sit on for a while, unless we kind of go through a critical resistance. I'll probably get out, but otherwise I don't really see any reason to get out of this trade. I'll just sit on it and we'll see how it develops. So anyway, that's some reasons why I think looking into Stellar is not a bad idea. I think that compared to Ripple, it would definitely be my choice. The founder of Stellar, Jed McCaleb, was also associated with Ripple and Mt. Gox, so he has a lot of experience in the space. Yes, I know that Stellar was an ICO, and not all ICOs are bad, just the vast, vast majority of them. Lisk was an ICO, Ethereum was an ICO, Waves was an ICO, and all of these projects turned out fine. But there were these were legitimate businesses. For me, I tend to look at things like, all right, well, Ethereum Classic is worth this much less than Ethereum. Well, Stellar is worth this much less than Ripple. Uh, just because the people that are involved in one coin are in a lot of cases going to hedge by being involved in the second coin. Um, Sometimes the communities overlap. The developer of XLM is also, you know, has a lot of experience. He's an old school crypto guy. I'm sure he has a lot of money to put behind the project. So there's a lot of things that are potentially good about it, and I can't really overstate the importance of having a Coinbase listing that is allows you to trade in, I believe, most jurisdictions in the U.S. You can see Coinbase here offers only a very limited amount of direct Bitcoin pairs in some jurisdictions, and Stellar is actually one of them, only 7. Similarly, there aren't that many USD pairs on Coinbase in a lot of US jurisdictions. And again, there's Stellar, the USD pair. So the dearth of options is something that should be taken into consideration in my mind. So that's really, really a big deal. Thanks again for coming out, keeping the faith alive. I know it's late, and I'm out of whiskey, so play the song. I'd just like to say thanks for listening to the Crypto Show, and that the Crypto Show is not investment advice. It's not intended to be. I'm more of a garbage man than I am an economist. Please keep that in mind. I'll try to be honest and transparent. I don't take money from anybody. The only person that pays me is CoinHQ, and we're trying to remain as objective as we can. Still, please do your own research and remember that nobody has your best interests in mind but yourself. Thanks, and I'll see you next time. Yeah, that's me right there, at Rent-A-Rocker on Twitter.